Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Countdown Future Conflict. We're doing episode 662, Iran War Day. I mean, maybe it's Iran War 2, day 1. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure that. We'll try to figure that out, what day we're on. And the future Civil War. Where might you ask? Is that Civil War? Well, maybe it's in America, but we'll talk about that as we get closer to it. People are losing their minds over this whole SCOTUS opinion. So we're going to talk about that as like it's like the kind of thing that it's not the solution, but it's the kind of thing that gives Republicans the ability to do a lot. But we'll see. They've been given the ball. Now they have to fucking run with it. So we'll see how they do it. As always, I'm joined by Joe and Watcher. Joe, how you doing today, brother?
I am well and good. All is well. A funny exchange yesterday. The UPS man showed up with a very, very heavy pile of packages. And he set them down and he picks up the one and shakes it. He goes, "Hey, man, that sounds like ammo." And I'm like, "I don't know, maybe." But it came to a discussion that he and his friends are all veterans and they didn't know what we did here. So I gave him a little briefing and a little rundown. So we got some more local friends, and make friends with your UPS man, especially if you have things like freedom seeds being sent. That way you actually get them. Unlike one of the FedEx guys who said, "Good luck with your apocalypse." And I'm like, well, I guess we know who's not coming here. But we have decided, in light of recent events, that we're going to make an affirmative action situation happen here at the camp, due to the fact that Charlie the bear continues to hang out on the range. We are appointing a black woman as our range safety officer named Charlie Bear. Charlie is short for Charlene, and it's pretty simple. She's the range safety officer. If Charlie is on the range is not safe. If she is not on the range is perfectly safe, and you may use it. So.
C. Westby's like, who lit a fire under everyone's ass today? The show is, relatively speaking, early. Well, I mean, it's like when we get it together, we get it together. We're not like,
yeah.
I gotta bring this up before we go. I did find a picture of Charlie Bear. It's been going around the internet lately.
Right. Actually, yeah, that is a masked bear, and I don't think that's real.
God, I hope it's not.
But Charlie's very distinctive because she has like a little honey-colored necklace around her neck, and she's just pretty cool. Hey, man, listen, stop dumping links in our chat.
Oh.
Go on. All right. Anyway, it's a good time out here. I hear that a certain dirty roofer may make his way around here today. And in addition to the other things we normally do, we're going to be involved in a drunken mini golf tournament. So that's going to be fun.
Should be interesting.
Hey.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great time.
Our good buddy Low-Key Larp back in the chat again. Gifted 5 subs to Future Conflict. Thank you, brother. Appreciate your support again to the show. I won't say we didn't miss your membership drives that you do, but at the same time, it's always nice to see anybody who's willing to support the channel. It means a lot to us. So thank you very much. Speaking of Hunch the Dirty Roofer, he just got one of your memberships there, Loki. All right, Watcher, how you doing?
Doing good. I am garden maxing. I am getting ready to vegetable mog all over all of you folks who are not heeding your warning that the beginning of May is your last time to feasibly plant a garden in most parts of the United States.
Hey, why is Mutant Banhammer saying that you were leaking selfies of him?
Well, that's that was the big bear. Yeah, that he was talking about the big bear, Joe.
I got you.
Hunch just scared the shit out of me. I thought we lost the stream again, but I guess not. It seems like it's going in both places.
It's just because he's hanging out on a rooftop in Salt Lake City that happens.
Well, there is that. So.
Oh well, hey, if you're heading up, if you need a pit stop, let me know. Anyways, But yeah, doing good. Like I said, almost finished planting the garden. If you have not done so yourself, hey, did you know that there's a fertilizer shortage going to be happening? And while the U.S. is probably not going to see anything like starvation because we are a huge food producing country, you are probably going to see significantly higher food prices, which means paying in a little sweat equity and a little bit of money on seeds now. Probably going to pay you a pretty big dividend when it comes fall time. Just saying.
Let me tell you that somebody's a true homie when they send you the map of their route to your place, and it includes a stop at the brewery where we really like the beer from.
Talk about a good yeah. No, they're only a homie if they do that and then they show up with the beer. If they say, "Oh, sorry, something happened to
he
it
was
between there and here."
He's like, "I'm gonna get there sometime Friday." I'm like, "Just so you know, you're driving right past Kettle House Brewery. That way, we don't have to go to the store." And so, if you're in the Pacific Mountain Northwest, let me just say, Kettle House Ale's Cold Smoke. That's some good stuff. You need some of that.
Yeah. I'll also say before we get moving on from the chat that congrats CW. I need to get some greenhouses and hoop houses up. My issue is we have extreme winds, and so I have to figure out like the overlap between cheap enough that I can afford it and strong enough that it's not just going to get ripped apart. So we'll have to figure it out.
All right. We can't always be super serious.
We have a lot of funny stuff today.
Yeah, we can't always be super serious. So today we've got several very funny links that we want to share. So Watcher, you want to get us started?
Well, I think we're going to lead it off first with the SOP anime segment, correct?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
So this is the official CFC PSYOP Anime Minute. Oh, hold on. I forgot. I got to reshare it with the correct audio formats.
Super serial, yeah, like man bear pig.
広大な砂漠と果てしない海を越え、この大陸の彼方にある魔法のような場所の伝説が語られている。乾いた空気が流れる川によって和らぐ場所。彼への匂いは空気を汚さない。そこで誕生日が本当の意味を持つ場所だ。満月のように巨大な大砲があると言われている。孤独な夜に泥を重ねたものを迎える種類になる。
If you haven't been under living under a rock for the last 12 hours, maybe I don't know, maybe you haven't seen it, but I guess it was yesterday during the day when this came out, this story broke, or maybe it became meme worthy in the last now somehow this horse-faced motherfucker came up with a fantasy.
Well,
you should be able as an HR executive when he turns in his claim to you, just be like rejected for absurdity on its face.
I'm sorry.
Look at her, right?
I'm sorry.
Forget about the language. Just look at them.
Yeah. I have to get this out. I have to ask. Has anybody notified Pixar that the dad from their next film has escaped?
Yeah, right.
I want to point out that literally no one involved in this is actually an American. For the record, but what I have there's two things. Number one, you should have ruled it as invalid on its face because Indian men do not turn down bobs and vagine. That does not happen. And second of all, the biggest takeaway I have from this is that the way I hear this, there's an opening working directly under her, and I'm willing to take one for the team. So.
What does this post actually say here? All right.
Okay,
okay. Well, we got to set it up because this goes straight into it was made up, right? So essentially, what happened is that this guy, he's what, about 10 years younger than her. or something like that. I don't know. She's the prototypical pretty girl. She's American or she's not American?
She's like Bosnian or Serbian or something.
Okay, so she's a European and he's an Indian, and so basically he said that as his supervisor, she was sexually harassing him, saying all kinds of like really kind of over the top stuff that just, let's be honest, it doesn't really make sense that anybody would ever type any of the words that he reported that she did.
So funny though.
But so there was like about an hour on the internet when people were basically saying that this is terrible. Oh my gosh, can you believe she did this to this guy? Blah blah blah. Well, that's where this post picks up. Turns out the story was just made up, and it gets worse. John Doe is Chirayu Rana, 35, now a principal at Brigal Sagemont. He left JP Morgan and went straight into private equity. The whole threatened his bonus premise collapse. Hajini reported to a completely different management team other than Rana. She had no say over his compensation. JP Morgan pulled the phone records, reviewed emails, interviewed the full team, found nothing. Rana even refused to participate in his own investigation. A colleague described Rana as a socially awkward, but someone who met the requirements to stay at the bank.
Yeah,
before
he was an H-1B.
Right. Just good enough to where because they're only paying him a third of what they would probably pay an American. Right. A colleague described. Let's see. Before any lawsuit, he tried to negotiate a payout in the millions to leave the bank quietly. They didn't bite. He filed a court filing. Then his lawyers retracted it for corrections and deleted it. But the Daily Mail already ran the whole thing, and the rest Twitter did its thing. So he tried to get paid, didn't, filed a now redacted complaint against someone who didn't touch his bonus. Wild.
For the next meme to make sense, you need to understand one thing, and that is that among the many allegations, including accusing him of not having curry-flavored genitals and all kinds of things,
that's false on its face. They had to be, but anyway.
Right. Was the accusation that she demanded that he touch her cannons, and B, that she called his wife a fish face, which
fish-headed something. So
a fish head. That is not an insult I am familiar with. However, the meme holds.
Yeah.
Looking good, Rajesh. Oh, sweet. You're sweet. Check out these candidates. Hello, human resources.
Listen, just for the sake of investigative purposes, I'm willing to check out those cannons.
Yeah. We got to know.
Listen, he's just mad because she would not allow him to move to Djibouti.
She had a strict no Djibouti policy there, Joe.
Yeah,
yep.
Man, the cannons.
I just can't. I almost want to get Cannon Hotep on here just to get his comment on whether or not the cannons are.
It's gonna be like, the reason why they're called cannons, and it's because they are cannon approved.
Cannon.
This is a trend. This is a social media trend I can get behind.
Well, no, it's gonna be like post canon.
Oh, Squishy, very funny. Squishy has a good one in the Rumble chat.
But here's the thing, like now I want to like, I haven't done this yet, but I want to like put a bag of fish. I want to take this to like AI or somebody like that to see if there is there like a like an idiom in Hindi or in an Indian language where you call a woman fish faced or a fish head
Right.
woman, or a
Fish
woman
head,
who's
yeah.
from Asia, fish head, right, or something like that.
Nobody
Because
calls
if there
them Asians
is,
either, right?
right,
No, Indians are not
Only
Asians.
Asians
They're
call them
Indians.
Asians, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. So I would just be really interested to see if there is some sort of Hindi idiom that would basically, post canon.
And another thing, when she offered him a birthday BJ, I don't know a man on the planet who says, nah.
No thanks, boss. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
This woman that would never swipe right on me wants to give me a BJ, and I'm gonna
You know what?
say no.
You know what? Maybe he
Yeah.
remembered, guys. Maybe he was like, wait a minute. This is just going to be James O'Keefe.
Yeah, maybe.
Joe, I don't know what your poem's going to be today, but today my thing says we're talking fish heads and cannons on today's
I'm
future
working on it.
conflict.
Speaking of cannons, as we all know, somebody tried to smuggle one into the old press event that the president was holding the other day, and some better video has been emerging.
That's
and
right.
So we thought we'd bring that to your guys' attention before we got onto the show today. We have a couple of them to get through. So this first one, I believe, is the Joe. This is the enhanced audio version, correct?
Yes, the enhanced audio is very, very important.
All right. Very interesting.
Listen, if he didn't actually do that, I'm disappointed.
And the next was this is fun. I didn't get to see this. This was a before shot. I don't know if you guys got to see this one. It's we have fun.
This is what they were really doing when he got by. Leroy Jenkins. Boy.
So just for all the places, yes, that was AI. It was a joke.
Yes, I mean heavens to Murgatroyd that we may trick somebody with enhanced content.
But you know what is not AI so far as I know? The next thing. Gents, you know how we like weird technicals?
Oh yeah.
We've seen a lot of weird technicals. And I'm not saying this is the weirdest, but it's pretty far up there. Behold the BMW rocket launcher.
Well, this is just a natural outgrowth. So the Russians calling a lot of theirs the BM or VM. And we just feel like, oh, this one's already a BM. So
a BM, right?
I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I love it. I mean, look, that's a hell of a spoiler, you know.
So only some members of our chat will get this, but you ever been engaged in like a firefight and then like the most ridiculous technical shows up and you just have to laugh and you can't even shoot at it because you're honestly impressed?
Yeah,
that has happened.
That's funny.
It's an older. I think it's an. So I don't know what kind of 3 series it is, but it's when it's from, I should say. But it's an older 3 series. Looks like a 90s to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say late 90s, early 2000s, but yeah, it's well, you know what? It might actually be a 5 series.
You know, my favorite BMW driver showed up here just to hang out for a little bit yesterday, but once again, he was slumming and having to drive the wife's Mercedes. I feel so bad, man.
Well, we've sent him a link so he could come in and defend himself about his car choice, but evidently he's not interested.
His BMW is currently where most BMW owners' BMWs are, and that is the shop. So.
Now, in fairness, my 15-year-old BMW was only in the shop recently because a Korean woman driver put it in the shop.
Sam Nope raises a great piece of movie lore, the same kind Jason Statham drives in the first Transporter movie. Listen, the first Transporter movie is just one of the best films, man. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
They got crazy when they got around Transporter 5 and 6, and they changed who the Transporter was. But the first couple Transporter movies were pretty solid.
Right.
So Scott, the next one I have the wrong link in there, but I'm fixing it right now.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, Lee, you're late. And this will be the first time. And first of all, when Watcher first texted me, I looked at my phone. I was like, "Are you guys serious?" Because this is the first time they had to text me to get them to join them. I was up. I just didn't anticipate they were quite ready, and they were. I was very impressed.
Now, Stormy, you need to bite your tongue here. I hate to say it, but as far as overall mechanical quality and reliability, my 3 Series has lasted better than any long-term car I've ever had.
How are you getting that home, by the way? Putting it on a
shipping
boat from Asia?
That's exactly what they do. They throw it. They put it on a car carrier.
Don't you get a? I was just gonna say I thought Marines back in the day, that was one of the things that they tried to do when they got stationed in Japan, is buy a Skyline or something, and then basically just ship it home in a cargo container.
Well, no, I think what they've got regular, because of just they have so many people coming here. They actually just put it on commercial vehicle transport. So it's like roll on, roll off.
Okay, cool.
What was funny was during a certain embassy evacuation, we rolled 2 of the State Department's vehicles onto amphibious shipping to remove them because we didn't want them to fall into anybody's hands, right? And so you got the big vehicle bay in the LPD or I guess it's LPH, and you got all these. You got like a row of LAVs and then a row of Humvees, and in it are 2 black Suburbans, and it was just like incongruous at best.
Right. I always thought it was funny, like, you would contractors would show up and they would just have a bunch of containers, of stuff, and like half of them would be vehicles, and so just so they have like SUVs to drive around on, on posts. It's like you're the only people.
You don't want to try to buy an SUV in country for your team because you end up with like an Isuzu Trooper, right? Which is not the most tactical of vehicles.
Well, either that or like the mid '90s, or mid '80s like Suburbans. Those were
they were kind of everywhere.
I was really surprised how many Suburbans were in Iraq. I really was.
Yeah.
All right. Let's open this first one here. Of course, I'm having to do a CAPTCHA thing to get into it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. All right, here we go. 2 Canadians detained by Israel off of the Greek coast, flotilla organizers. Let's see. 2 Canadians are amongst the activists detained by Israel after boats were sailing. They were sailing on were intercepted overnight during a mission to break a nearly 20-year naval blockade. Shocking. Israel defends their naval blockade, and water is wet. Film at 11.
And everyone's complaining about how illegal it is while we're running a naval blockade, right? That no one
in point of fact, it is not illegal, and there is no international law that says that they can't do it, or international law that Israel recognizes, at least.
By the way, they're technically attempting to enter what is under international law Israeli waters. They have a right to stop them.
Yeah. All right. Is there more to this story that it seems pretty.
I mean, you have Canadians that I have yet to look into it, but I'm not going to be surprised when I find out that they are part of some government-funded program in order to help refugees.
I blame you. I blame you. I blame you, Watcher. This is Canadians don't care. Detained by Israel don't care. Off the Greek coast, place I don't care about. I mean.
Oh, come on. You got Canadians literally trying to push migrants into various different parts of Europe, and you're saying that's not interesting.
I know.
Mamdani has demanded that the U.S. do something because New Yorkers are on board those ships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, did you see that they had footage of them being kind of detained on the Israeli Navy ship, and they were doing cartwheels and and like
Yeah,
just
they
doing
look like
gymnastics.
hostages, don't they?
Oh my God, it was talk about rough treatment.
What I want to
Good.
talk about is the Happy Plague Doctor's comment on YouTube that Scott should do Joe a solid and bring home a Nissan Patrol.
Nissan Patrol. I don't know. I don't see too many of those over here. Now, you know what's funny is there are a lot of Japanese cars over here. Like there are a lot of Silvas and Skylines and things like that because the soldiers buy them in Japan and then and bring them over here from Japan. But then like they generally don't take them back.
Well, they run $70,000 to $110,000. So
The Nissan Patrol.
yeah, it's a luxury SUV.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
I bet you it's not really available in the U.S.
Yeah, that would be what. Well, as long as if it's more than 20 years old, you can gray market it in.
Yeah. Hold up. It comes in green. I'm going to need it. Anyway.
But the next story also brings us to the Mediterranean. Well, mostly the Mediterranean. And it's good news.
Let's see. Yeah. This is a good one. Well, and this is amongst like this is like a story amongst a swarm of stories dealing with the basically pulling back from NATO. Trump is in a tete-a-tete right now with Merz, the what is he, prime minister or president or whatever, or chancellor of Germany. Let's see. President Donald Trump said Thursday that he's considering withdrawing American troops stationed in Italy and Spain due to the country's unwillingness to help with the Iran war. Trump previously announced the administration is studying a drawdown of U.S. forces in Germany following a public spat with with Merz, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. The president has also frequently accused NATO members of failing to support the American interest. The interesting thing is how much deals we're doing with places like Romania. And I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't move some of these bases into a place like Romania. We've also had Poland offer to build a permanent base for U.S. forces to move from Germany to Poland. I mean, let's be honest. Poland, Hungary, Romania. There you go. I would accept our those as three places that we could keep our NATO forces, and then DX, Spain, Germany, and Italy. I'm good with that.
Solid.
Because I mean, those are three countries that actually appreciate what we do for them and the security that we would bring to them.
Yep.
We need to just make a new alliance with the specific countries that are actually aligned with us. You don't stay in alliances with countries that aren't actually aligned with you.
And then
this is complicated.
And instead of our soldiers marrying these ungrateful Western European women, they could start, marrying these hot Romanian and Hungarian and Polish chicks. I'm just saying they're almost all Christians too. So, all right. Why are they always FKing? Let's see. All right. Squishy Hunter. Someone asked me if I'd eaten a kiwi here. Wasn't sure if they meant the fruit, the bird, or the waitress. That's funny.
Hey, reminder, speaking of Buffalo Ron, let's do a little ad for Buffalo Ron. If you happen to come to a class here at Camp Ponderosa in the next couple of months until we run out, everyone who comes to class gets a free pair of Buffalo wool socks. Now, the Kenai sock, you might think, oh, it's a pair of socks. These are like $45, right? And you get one if you come to class. So I've got them in a few sizes. I got a whole box of them. It was really nice of Ron to just send those. And he likes what we do here, and he likes what we've been doing for him. I've been supporting him since he first started, and Buffalo wool socks are like unbeatable. They're fantastic. So if you come here, we have them.
Did he send any over in Sasquatch size?
Judge Maddie, I don't know if you're being serious or not. buffaloes grow wool? Yes.
Joe, did he send any over in Sasquatch size?
I've got a couple in Sasquatch size. So.
Well, I'm not quite Sasquatch size, but I'd like some too.
Yeah.
All right.
Warning,
man,
next story is not fun.
Boy, everyone is talking about those buffalo wool socks on there, and yeah, they're right. And listen, Stormy, $45 socks. As someone who spent a good portion of his life, just like Scott and Watcher, moving a lot of places on foot, $45 is worth it for a good pair of socks. 100%. So.
Treat your feet.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like wool socks, the reason why wool socks are traditionally were great was because wool fibers are hollow, and even when they're wet, they will keep your feet warm. Now, compared to modern modern socks, they also last a lot longer. It's really surprising how much longer my wool socks last.
They also breathe better.
Yeah, they do. I don't like shoes or socks. Stormy's just like a barefoot gal. She's like,
Is that a Noki thing?
It's not very tactical, Stormy. It's not very tactical.
Right. All right. Let's see.
All right. So next story, not fun, but always something to keep tabs on. Hey, do you guys remember the whole we're growing brains in jars and using them as computers thing?
Oh, yeah. This is the, what is it? The brain cells and stem cells and then using them as...
Yeah. So the scientist one of the foremost scientists in that field who was convicted of, I need to look up what he was convicted of because I'm actually not even sure. But as soon as he got out of jail, he, wouldn't you know it?
He fucked
up
off
in China.
Yep. American scientist convicted of lying to U.S. authorities about payments from China while he was at Harvard University has rebuilt his research lab in Shenzhen to pursue technology the Chinese government has identified as a national priority, which is embedding electronics into the human brain. Not dystopian at all.
That needs to be opposed with the sword. I'm just
it's like when Elon Musk does it for like handicapped people, I'm willing to give him a little grace, right? But when China does it, fuck no.
No.
But Elon doesn't want to do it just for handicapped people.
I
have a chip in your brain, and that deserves to be opposed.
Yeah, right. I would oppose that. I oppose.
Let me talk about this from the national security angle. This is where the CIA What Works department is. This literally what they are for. And this gentleman should have a date for falling out of a 32nd story window that is sealed.
Yeah, if Russia was involved in this guy would have already fallen from a hotel window.
Yeah. Now, of course, this is how he tries to tell everybody that it's fine. But the fact that he's in China doing this means it's not fine. The technology has shown promise in treating conditions such as ALS and restoring movement in paralyzed patients. But it also has potential military applications. Well, no shit. Scientists at the Chinese People Liberation Army have investigated brain interfaces as a way to engineer super soldiers by boosting mental agility and situational awareness, according to the Defense Department. I mean, so yeah, transhumanism is one of the ickiest things in the kind of coming singularity, right? I am not a fan. My brain will stay fully meat. I am not interested in, a lot of high tech stuff that's coming out. I'm really interested in. This is one that I have zero interest in. Now, I also think, but fuck, man, it's just. And the fact that the Chinese are making a bald face, I mean, I think you're right. This guy needs to miss his step at a 25 on the 25th floor.
Yup.
He's gonna sit down on a train one day and be like, "Ow! Did somebody just jab me with something?"
Yeah.
Nah, that'll be the end of his day.
Let's see.
But yeah, I mean that is how that story needs to end. But it's not the only China story.
Because
happy
it
ending.
never can be.
But this one's got a happy ending though. This was a
All
really
right.
good
Well,
story. I like this one. Chinese national extradited from Italy faces charges in connection with alleged Houston hacking case. We got him, boys. He thought he was safe traveling in Europe, and we snatched him. The FBI grabbed his ass in Italy. It's great.
All right, so I take back everything I ever said about the Italians being feckless and not on the not with the home team. Zhu Zhewi, 34, the People's Republic of China, is charged in connection with alleged computer intrusions carried out between February 2020 and June 2021, according to court documents. Some of those intrusions were part of the Hafnium campaign, a large-scale hacking operation attributed to the Chinese Ministry of State Security. That's the MSS, if you are not aware. That compromised thousands of computers worldwide. His co-defendant remains at large. Federal prosecutors and FBI officials said officers of the PRC's MSS Shanghai Security State Bureau directed Zhu to conduct the hacking while he worked for a Shanghai-based company, described in court documents as one of many enabling firms used to conduct hacking for the Chinese government while obscuring Beijing's involvement.
Remember all the way back during the Obama administration when we ruled that state-sponsored hacking was considered an act of war?
Mm-hmm.
And here we are just being like, well, we'll just prosecute this guy. And let me mention something. You said that the Italians may have been involved. Listen, the United States District Court does not care how you came to be within U.S. jurisdiction. So
yeah,
it doesn't necessarily mean the Italians were involved. Let me just say that there have been times when an FBI legal attaché at the embassy said, I need this person, and the locals won't play ball. And then all of a sudden that person shows up at the airport in a diplomatic pouch. So, for those who don't know, a diplomatic pouch these days is a container. It's a giant thing. It's not really a pouch.
Yeah. The diplomatic pouch is not the attaché case it used to be.
Yeah. Listen, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Around here, we support the homies. So if you don't buy Phoenix ammo, you are doing it wrong.
Okay. And I do have one more. It's not in the notes, but I do have one more just brief little odds and ends before we move into the main segment today. Just a little blast from the past, a little tradition, because it is Friday after all.
Today is fine day in California.
Very good. Moving on. That's appropriate for this next story here. We're following up on the action in Mali. Whoops, hit the wrong link there.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I accidentally unshared. Let me reshare it.
All right, so the video we're going to start with here is air operations by the Malian Air Force in support of the Russian African Corps. When they say Malian Air Force, what they mean are Russian pilots flying Russian planes with the Malian roundel painted on the side of it. Terrorists might have the numbers, but are dying in the hundreds by the day. Yeah, so this is typically the way it goes over there. They'll have some spectacular success on 1 or 2 days, and then for the rest of the time, it's mowing the grass for the contractor supported forces. But that being said, there are others out there that claim that this is not going nearly as well for the government of Mali and other countries in the whole Sahel, Western Saharan Africa region. If I can get this story to open up.
The government of Mali, also known as a contractor for the Russian government for gold production.
Yeah, exactly right. The Mali gold production state. Jihadists are on the brink of the African caliphate. This is a Wall Street Journal story. Al Qaeda led militants bent on building an African caliphate are closing in on Mali's capital and forcing a retreat of the Russian mercenaries. So he's basically recounting what we talked about earlier in the week. In some of the fiercest fighting in more than a decade this week, rebels routed Kremlin-controlled forces from a northern town, seizing Russian hardware as they swept through the Sahara. In the capital of Bamako, militants imposed a siege or attacked the airport and killed the defense minister in his suburban home. That was all beaten back, and the Russians and the Malian forces have secured those areas. The regime is highly vulnerable, and the Russians have shown they cannot protect it. Let's see. The risk isn't only to Bamako falling; it's the junta becoming nominally in charge of a capital while losing effective control of most of the country. Should jihadists topple the government, Mali would become the first country anywhere to be governed by adherents of the terror group that blew up the American embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, brought down the Twin Towers, so basically Al Qaeda. Let's see. The partnership formed between Moscow's ambitious foray into Africa and the Middle East, where the Kremlin offered countries such as Mali, Sudan, and Syria security in exchange for access to mineral wealth. More broadly, Russia regarded its interest in Africa as key to success with the struggle with the West for global dominance. But that strategy is unwinding. Let's see. The latest retreat in Mali could spell the end of adventurism for Africa. That Wagner founder, Yevgeny Prigozhin, there's a blast from the past right there. God, I miss that guy. The stories about Ukraine were always more interesting when Yevgeny Prigozhin were involved. When he wasn't trying to overthrow the Russian government over the weekend or something like that.
I don't know. That's
that
pretty
story
interesting.
still is too stupid to make sense. So
Right.
I that's what I'm saying. It's like, do you remember that special we did? We were just like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, this doesn't even make sense. It seems stage managed, and I guess I would say this: I wouldn't be so sure that Prigozhin isn't involved.
He led it. So, just if you didn't know, Prigozhin led an aborted coup against the Kremlin in 2023. Man, that was 3 years ago. It was killed 2 months later when his jet he was on was bombed. Shocking. Somebody who comes at the king, you better not miss. Let's see. The situation in the Republic of Mali remains difficult.
I'm
So,
sorry. I got to interrupt. Sometimes viewers send me stuff and I can't. Sierra Lima from chat has just sent me a picture of them attempting to collect buffalo wool for a sweater.
Yeah, so that's good.
Don't do that.
Don't pet the fluffy cows is a thing. So
Hey, don't do that.
it doesn't ever go the way you think it's going to go.
So this story tends to paint the success of the Al Qaeda terrorists and the Tuareg rebels in a much more kind of serious light. Now, is it serious? Yeah, it's serious, right? But the thing is that these groups have shown that they don't have what you'd call a lot of staying power when it comes to offensive operations, and they have a tendency to piss everybody off everywhere they go. So I wouldn't look for them to be, a threat for the total control of Mali. But let's be honest, Joe, if Al Qaeda was coming close to really throwing over Mali, how long before the French show up and say,
"Oh, the French would show up and forcibly stop that"?
Right.
And the Tuaregs don't even really want the whole thing; they just want the north, the true Tuaregs. But that's the only problem I have with the movie Sahara is they painted the Tuaregs in a very, very, very positive light. These are not actually good people. These are Al Qaeda activists. So
yeah. Well, they are devout Muslims, not extremist Muslims. They are just devout Muslims, which mean they want to stone women and gay people. Just remember that. Sorry, that was
Patty. Buffalo tipping is not a thing. In buffalo tipping, the buffalo tips you, and it usually involves a horn through the chest. So every year, people get gored by buffaloes in in Yellowstone because everyone insists on trying to pet them, and they're like, "Nah, fam, we wild animals."
Yeah, violent ones at that.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know the one time I encountered one in the wild, we were like, we're gonna back away very slowly, and we're gonna wait until his back is turned, because that is not cool.
Yeah. All right. So, Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Yes, the tactical wisdom is when you see a buffalo in the wild, you go the other direction. So we've got some updated training courses on there. Get on there and come out to a class. We've got all kinds of good things going on here. There are a lot of good classes coming up, like combatives and things like that. That's a pretty popular one. I'll be teaching on Tuesday over at Swan Mountain Outfitters, teaching land navigation. So we've got a couple of really good couple-mile long land navigation courses to get you out and moving and practicing these skills. A lot of good stuff. I implore you to take a class. And seriously, I have to make this for Matt. If you intend to come to Matt's RTO or SIGINT class in Montana, you need to actually register or let him know you'll be there. Otherwise, he's going to cancel the class. And I don't want that for the other guys who are going to be there. It's not cost effective for him to come out here if people don't sign up. And I know that right now everyone's got this whole, but Trump's in and we're winning thing. Look around you. Do you get the feeling that things are getting better or worse? Go train. Get out there. So a good stack of classes we have is starting there like on June 5th, we're doing combatives. Then on June 9th, we're doing fieldcraft. And then right after that, June 12th to the 14th, you have your choice. You can take NC Scouts RTO course or K's Patrolling Fundamentals course. Then the 15th through the 17th, we've got Matt's SIGINT course. And then the 19th to the 21st, I've got Community Security Ops, and we're also going to have our friends from MOST, Mobile Outdoor Skills Training, doing Wilderness First Aid that whole weekend. A 16-hour Wilderness First Aid course, great stuff. So in that week, you can just jam it full of training and learn all kinds of skills. I recommend you checking it out. It's always a fun week here. Watcher sometimes comes over. Watcher, by the way, in July, we're going to need you to make a batch of Derby Pie, and we're going to rename it. This is going to be called Willie's Derby Pie because I'm working on something with Willie's Distilling.
That's right.
And,
very cool.
And I have told them the fact that we have a variant of Kentucky Derby Pie made with Devil's Brigade whiskey, and they're very interested in this. So,
yeah. Well, there you go. Good stuff.
So I will be communicating with them some more today.
Do
So
they have
anyway,
a bourbon-esque whiskey in their lineup?
Devil's Brigade.
Yeah, they make it. That's them.
It is a bourbon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
technically,
back over the summer when I met him, and we were talking about it, and it being our unofficial thing. He goes, "Then we just need to make it your official whiskey." And so he and I will be at an event together in a couple of weeks. So good stuff going on. Support Willie's Distilling in Ennis, Montana, if you get a chance. They make great stuff. Also support Glacier Distilling, who makes the fantastic Bear Proof bourbon, which is huckleberry flavored, and it's amazing.
Joe, I had a brainstorm the other day. I'll have to tell you about it offline because I haven't worked it all out yet. But it's a new variant on what we can do with Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Let me just say Baja Blast margaritas.
I don't drink margaritas because I'm a man. But
well, you would trust me. You would drink this, but you drink soju. Come on, I mean that's just paint thinner.
That's because you brought it to me. I don't drink it because you brought it to me.
That's right.
Are they going to be maybe a martini, shaken not stirred? But I don't know. But that's a good idea. Anyway, I live in a hurricane zone. What courses should I take for me and my wife? So look, Matt's RTO course.
That would be RTO.
Community Security Operations, how to protect your neighborhood in the absence of law enforcement and fire services. So those would be the two stack I would start with. So Good stuff. Jay Clark makes a good point. Even if you think you're winning, you need to get to class. The other side will fight back at some point. So, also, we are. I know I've said it before, but I actually mean it this time. We are putting the finishing touches on Tactical Wisdom 6, so that will be coming out very, very soon.
Hey, good stuff.
Awesome, man. We need a like an injection into our veins of tactical wisdom and goodness here. So
Yeah, and I really want to get to work on 7, so I need to get 6 done. So
well, and then we've also got the other versions coming. Looking forward to those. I don't know.
yes. Let's. I got to get some confirmation on that. I mean, they haven't. I don't have a contract in hand yet, so as soon as I
keep my
do,
mouth shut for now. Yeah.
as soon as the special edition comes out, we will let you all know about that. But you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
Well, so I just want to say, now that you've said that, I mean, we've got 6, 7, we've got 6. What's it going to be? Oh, snap! Tactical Wisdom 6. And now, so here's but this is Sibley is behind. Now, when are they going to start asking you? When's it coming out, Joe? You said 6 is coming out. When's it coming out? You know,
Start. When did
for
they
the
stop?
next like.
Rick started that like the minute 5 came out.
That's right.
So six for those who are asking will be the Field Skills Handbook, where we take a bunch of obscure outdoor skills and talk about them, and then we take some mainline outdoor skills like canoeing and kayaking, and we apply tactical principles to them, like how to move down a river in a kayak or canoe securely, and how to maybe use your kayak or canoe as a shelter and stuff like that. There'll be a lot of interesting things in there. Some knot tying, some old school Boy Scout pioneering, all kinds of good things.
I want a tactical wisdom coloring book for kids.
That's actually not a bad idea, especially when I'm looking at these coloring books from Firearms
Right.
Unknown. So, yeah, good idea. How did you know, Jay Clark, that's what Tactical Wisdom 7 would be? Tactical spooning.
Spooning exercises.
Also known as field warming. Actually, tactical spooning is addressed in Tactical Wisdom 5. You just didn't pay enough attention to catch it. What do we do, Scott, if somebody is suffering from severe hypothermia?
Well, Watcher takes all his clothes off and gets in a sleeping bag with him. That's what happens.
Yeah. Do tactical cuddling. Tactical Wisdom expand by discussing tactical insertion into Djibouti. Great.
That was. I won't lie, Joe. One of the nice things about being an officer, whether it was back when we would do, like, for instance, we used to have to do like training every cycle every summer for when I was in OCS. We had to do training for summer heat training, right? And in the training environment, ice sheets is a part of that, right? And so we would always have to train and actually put ice sheets on somebody. And the nice thing about being an officer is you never had to be the one that actually had to be the training dummy to put the ice sheets on. So that was a nice thing. And in this case, like my job would be to stand there with my hands on my hip, and Watcher's job would be to sacrifice himself, strip down the activities, and get in the sleeping bag with the poor freezing person.
It's funny. I'm starting to have this feeling like maybe officers and enlisted people get different first aid instruction manuals.
Listen, in Watcher's defense, it'd have to be someone of Squishy's caliber or higher, because Watcher has standards. He has standards. Maybe Jay Clark.
Even Stormy's getting a Navy spooning. All right. Let me break out the brush beater. Let's see. I have Civil War in it today. All right. In the midst of growing fears of civil conflict in America, as the political left loses major levers of powers through legal rulings and legislative shifts, the gerrymander state maps being unwound, and the real possibility of losing Congress for a decade or more, many of the radical left are already signaling that they won't accept it peacefully. The threat of violent uprisings and domestic chaos is becoming real. By the way, we're talking about fucking Hakeem Jeffries, not like just a bunch of Antifa fucks. When institutions break down, the streets turn dangerous. You cannot rely on failing cell networks. Brush Beater Store gives you the edge with the RT950 Pro, a high-performance handheld radio featuring a built-in spectrum analyzer to scan frequencies and detect threats. Wideband coverage for to include CB, ham, and GPS coordination, and strong transmission power to keep your family, group, or community connected when everything else goes dark. Back it up with the RTO 3-day course. That's the one that Joe was talking about. Intensive field-proven training that teaches you how to create SOIs, manage frequencies under pressure, and run secure group comms in a high-threat environment. This turns good gear into real capacity when the political losers turn violent. Get the RT950 and build your net at brushbeater.store/collection/handheld-radio-ht. Enroll the RTO course at brushbeater.store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $100 ship for free. Big thanks to Matt and Brushbeater Store for powering the Council on Future Conflict as the left faces long-term losses and the real risk of violent backlash grows. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and build the connected, capable security presence your community needs. Now back to the show. All right.
Jay Clark raises an interesting point that it can't be him in a sleeping bag with Watcher because they usually don't make sleeping bags big enough for two Sasquatches. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Jake Clark, I'm going to make a bet because I know you're at Mountain Readiness. I bet that not only did you arrive in a Subaru, but you're also wearing a flannel shirt. Wink, wink.
If you know, you know.
You know.
Oh my God. Can I just? This is out of pocket before we get into the main topic here. Watch your private chat. Going back to the fish heads and cannons comments earlier.
Oh, wonderful. Nice.
This is Marco Rubio realizing he's a junior associate analyst at JP Morgan now.
Oh,
they need more little brown boys.
Yeah.
I love the handcuffs that he's wearing. It's a very apt.
This is a response.
Anxiety. If you're not, you have depression, everyone hates you. JP Morgan said, "It better you."
We don't ask what happens with two bears in a forest. It isn't polite. Very good. Very good, Hondo.
Oh my God! Have you seen the actual footage of the guy defending the Nazi tattoo?
Defending it? No.
I didn't realize it was actually on camera. Let me share this. This is fucking crazy. I know it's a little off topic.
Wouldn't that be good for segment 2?
Yeah, here I'm going to give it to you here. I'll put it just quick. I'll see.
X gonna give it to you.
There we go. Now you got it.
Sweet.
All right, let's get into our first dealio here.
In case you were wondering why the show is titled Iran War Day. I don't know anymore. Do you?
Now, did you say Iran delivered a new deal? A new deal.
Yeah, well, so that's the word on the street. I haven't heard what's in it yet, but supposedly about 30 minutes ago they delivered a new deal.
Well, if you can find something about that, we'll put it later in this segment. Let me go ahead and jump into this AP story. Trump administration says its war in Iran has been terminated before the 60-day deadline. Yeah, because here's the okay. So at first I was kind of like, "What? This is stupid." And then I started reading kind of like the big brain rationale behind this. And actually, it's fairly smart. And it hoists them by their own petard because he's basically doing what Obama did to do individual attacks in Yemen, calling each individual attack a distinct and different conflict from the last one. And that with this what 2-week pause or 3-week pause or whatever we've had, this gives him just enough kind of like breather to say now we're going to start a new conflict, so that it gets him. But here's the other thing too: since the War Powers Act, which is supposed to be 60 days, and you can extend it for 30 days or something like that.
Yeah.
It's actually never been challenged, and it's never been nobody's ever had to get congressional approval to go beyond the 60 days before. Nobody's literally ever done that before.
We haven't declared war since World War II.
That's what I'm saying. We're talking about all the conflicts that have occurred since World War II have been done, without the War Powers Act approval, and without a declaration of war. So there is that.
And I'm not saying this is right, but I am saying that if you do have a problem with this and you think it's new, you should take it up with Obama, who during Yemen literally declared the conflict started. Yeah. Like it's insane that we have to echo this so many times, but like nobody gets it. This is the policy so far.
And that's some of the still open AUMFs would probably cover this.
Right. That's he could basically transfer what they did to get us out of Kabul or whatever and move that over to Iran.
What they did to get us into Syria. I mean,
exactly right, which is further from Afghanistan than Iran.
Seriously, if anyone of them says anything about Iran, I'll just be like, Syria.
Yeah. The Trump administration is arguing that the war in Iran has already ended because the ceasefire that began in early April, an interpretation that would allow the White House to avoid the need to seek congressional approval. This statement furthers an argument laid out by the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth during testimony in the Senate. Oh, by the way, did you see that the Congress actually voted down something that would keep him from being able to invade Cuba? The Democrats had a resolution or whatever that would say that he couldn't use military force on Cuba without congressional approval, and it didn't even pass. So I mean, so evidently he could go into Cuba too. The statement furthers an argument laid down by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. That's fucking bullshit of them to not use his official title. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth during testimony in the Senate earlier Thursday, when he said the ceasefire effectively paused the war. Under that rationale, the administration has not yet met the requirement mandated by a 1973 law to seek formal approval from the Congress for military action that extends beyond 60 days. A senior administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the administration's position said, for the purposes of that law, the hostilities that began on Saturday, February 28th, have terminated. The official said the U.S. military and Iran have not exchanged fires since that 2-week ceasefire began in April 7th. While the ceasefire has since been extended, Iran maintains its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. So does the fucking Navy, by the way. Let's see. Under the War Powers Resolution, the law that sought to constrain the president's military power, President Donald Trump had until Friday to seek congressional authorization to cease fighting. Yeah, so he ceased fighting at the beginning of April. The law also allows an administration to extend that deadline by 30 days. Right. So basically, under the War Powers Act, he can do whatever the fuck he wants for 90 days.
They also need to be careful because with the Israel lobby in the U.S. Congress, you might end up forcing a declaration of war, which enables a whole lot more things, right?
Yeah. That's how you would end up dropping a bomb or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That deadline is not a suggestion, it's a requirement, says Susan Collins, Republican from Maine, who voted Thursday in favor of a measure that would end military action in Iran since Congress. So that's the irony, right? They have ended the military action. They stopped military action. They are doing the blockade, but that's not what you would call active military action against Iran.
Man, this Kool-Aid is pretty good.
I know, right? I'm all for it, especially if Democrats and rhinos don't like it. I'll sell it, right? I'm good with it. That deadline is a suggestion. But then again, I've never said that I was against the war in Iran. So there is that. She added that further military actions against Iran would have a clear mission, achievable goals, and a defined strategy for bringing the conflict to a close. Richard Goldberg, who served as the director for countering Iranians' weapons of mass destruction for the National Security Council during Trump's first term, said that he has recommended to the administration officials that they simply transition to a new operation, which he suggests be called Epic Passage, a sequel to Epic Fury. This is not a bad idea. Everybody gets a new campaign ribbon as well. Would inherently be a mission of self-defense focused on reopening the strait while reserving the right to offensive action in support of restoring freedom of navigation. To me, that solves it all, added Goldberg. During testimony before the Senate this week, Hegseth said the administration understanding is that the 60-day clock is on pause while the two countries were in a ceasefire. That's a good way to look at it too, I guess. Whatever. As good as any other. Let's see. Hegseth, about the timeline later, told reporters that the defense secretary of war advanced a novel argument that I've never heard before and certainly has no legal support. This is Tim Kaine, of course, the guy that nobody remembers.
He's actually not wrong. It's just straight 60-day clock. There's nothing in the 60-day clock about rounds have to be fired each day. So you
can't force me to agree with Tim Kaine, Joe. Just because he may be right doesn't mean I have to agree with him. To be very, very clear and unambiguous, nothing in the text of the design of the War Powers Resolution suggests a 60-day clock can be paused or terminated. It also doesn't say it can't. Let's see.
I'll be honest. Literally, no one cares about the War Powers Act except for
right. Nobody. And then, like I said, there's never been a 60-day reauthorization. Old Hormuz Kong has entered the chat.
So, they could theoretically, just like Juan Cholo points out, force that vote, but then the president would just go to the Supreme Court. And if you look at the strict interpretation of the Constitution, the president would win. So,
Joe, look at this degeneracy in our chat.
I'm not sure if Stormy's talking about Jim or Pete Hegseth. I'm not sure.
I'm sure.
Jim, how you doing, brother?
I'm good.
In case y'all aren't quick on the uptake like I am, notice that Jim is old Hormuz Kong today, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's okay. I got the vibe of the show. I was like, all right.
I heard a rumor.
Have an opinion.
I had a rumor that you were sighted yesterday sitting around a non-functioning campfire discussing the world's problems with another wise person. That's what I heard. It's a rumor.
I heard that too. It was the bear with the cinnamon collar.
Yeah.
Can't trust the bear with the cinnamon collar.
When you and I drove back there, that's the first time the only time that day that bear was not back there. That bear has been there all day.
Bears know better.
Jim, as our business correspondent for the Council on Future Conflict, we're going to need you also to comment on J.P. Morgan Chase cannons and fish heads.
Why you lost me on that one? What? Walk me into it.
You mean you haven't seen the new soap opera, the new internet soap opera that has dropped for all of our enjoyment?
Let me give you an image. Let me give you an image, Jim, and see if it sparks anything.
Did it come out of your Japanese correspondence?
No. This is the U.S. branch, although nobody involved is American.
I got a new picture of her for you on the next.
This is the guy that was the sex slave. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get it.
Supposedly.
She's been named the new ambassador to India.
Listen, you didn't need to post this picture because I was already sold on going to work for this woman.
It's an interesting thing. What I find is this executive level litigation about sexual harassment and stuff was just a gold mine. And so I know people who've sued companies multiple times over what I would describe as silliness. This doesn't appear to have been silliness. You don't want your boss forcing you into sexual. Well, maybe sometimes.
Oh, so you haven't heard the second part, which is it has come out. There's been investigations, fully fabricated, 100% made up. Like, not the relationships didn't even exist to where she could have pressured him in any way. Plus,
So this
they've
is
gone
a
through
money.
the phone records.
This is all a money game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of this in my lifetime. People complaining, people serially complaining, people moving from company to company. That's very sad to hear, actually. But kudos to their security people for sorting it out quickly, right? I mean, that's professional. But yeah, they're going to be female bosses who are as nasty as some of the man bosses in the past. I mean, that's just a uniform human condition. But most big companies don't tolerate this kind of shit. Shouldn't it?
What? But Jim. I mean, you're aware that like we say things differently than people in other countries do. What American women don't do is refer to their tits as cannons, and they they don't call people fish head, like your fish headed wife. They don't say that. That sounds like something an Indian guy might say about an Asian woman.
Well, in other words, they use the wrong colloquialisms and then out themselves as having been liars. Yeah,
exactly.
I've never heard that except from Joe. Joe pointed that out to me once. He said that happens. So all those interviews Joe had to do in the private sector, you learn about that, right? They're tells, Joe. People lie.
What?
No,
What?
I don't believe that.
Exactly.
So, Jim, I'd like to hear your opinion about the question at hand. What day of the Iran war are we technically on now? Is it paused? Is it reset? Do we go back to zero?
Well, there's a giant wheel with 90 slots that goes clickety click when you spin it, and you just start fresh every time somebody pulls a trigger. So, yeah, I think I agree with you. It goes back to the executive's prerogative. We'll see what happens here. The problem is everybody's getting ready for November. Nobody's thinking strategically on the Hill. So, I think Trump's done the right thing. I'm kind of with Scott on this, which is I'm long the war in Iran, but there's a lot of risk to it. But I don't think the president cares about the risk piece so much. He's doing what he thinks is right, and his people are doing what they think is right. So you got to go with them because there are people, right? And people, it's everybody, not just conservatives.
Yeah, the interest. I don't think he's afraid to go in on the ground, right?
Not at all.
Problem, but here's the thing: he's not going to do it unless he has a really good reason to do it, and they can do it in a way that has a high likelihood for success. And that's the reason.
Honestly, Hegseth doesn't want to go in. Right.
No.
This concept that Hegseth is this bloodthirsty crazy man that the Democrats are spewing. He's kind of like you guys. He's been deployed for many, many, many months and years, and he knows exactly what it's like, and his peer group knows exactly what it's like. They're not in a hurry to go onto the ground in West Asia. I mean, it's just that would be a very difficult thing to do. They may go onto the islands. I've always said that. But the Arabs want their islands back, right? So I think the UAE will get its islands back. So we'll see what happens. I think you're going to see some territorial losses for the Iranians. And I do think at some point there's going to be foreign occupation of part of the port and maritime facilities that the Iranians rely on. But that's me. Praying Mantis too.
I fully agree with you. I think it'll be more than the islands. I think it'll be a perimeter around the coast for a while, but I don't know if we're going to be the ones enforcing it. We'll have to see.
No,
I think the African Union.
Well, that would actually. Well, I do have some breaking news about that last story that I have to share. Apparently, Kash Patel has heard about the opening and has resigned as the FBI position to pursue a career in banking.
No, I actually think she's way too old for Kash Patel.
Ooh.
Seriously, have you seen his girlfriend? He gives a vibe. It gives a vibe. I'm just throwing that out there.
Facts are facts.
Yeah. Man, I had something on the tip of my tongue and I lost it. Gone. Oh, it's May Day, so watch out for tomfoolery today. By the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, May Day, right? It used to be you had to worry about what would happen on May Day. I mean, like it's not as much of a thing as it used to be, but
Yeah, like in the late 80s, early 90s, May Day was a legit Antifa terror day.
oh yeah, 100%. Well, did you see that for the first time ever, Russia's not going to have armored vehicles in their May Day parade?
Well, they're running a little short.
It didn't have any to spare, huh?
They're worried they're going to get droned. They're going to get droned in Moscow.
I know, right?
That's probably actually pretty accurate, right? They don't want to create a lucrative target for someone.
Exactly. Can you imagine just somebody flying up the street and taking them out as they're lining up for the parade?
Like literally right in front of the crowd too, right? I mean,
all that pretty light green paint that they use for their yeah.
All right, let's
That's
see.
actually, that does remind me. I do have a gripe. I hate it when they paint white walls on armored vehicles. Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
North Koreans and the Chinese do that a lot.
Oh my God, white walls. It's like, what? What are you guys doing? It's like a throwback to the 30s, man.
Any place that has Democratic People's Republic in the name generally has that to it.
They white wall their drivetrain.
Hey, Jay Clark raised an interesting point related to May Day that avoid the new Animal Farm movie. It's pro-communist version. Yeah, it's like literally pro-communist. And the whole point of Animal Farm was to warn about communism.
You know what?
I thought that was the Angel Studios one. Is that
it is?
That one?
Yes.
The Christian one is
pro-communist.
Well, listen, Angel Studios exposed themselves with the movie Homestead, right? Yeah. Because Homestead is supposed to be about preparedness and all that kind of stuff, but in the end, the wife opens up their gated and protected community to literally everyone and shares the food with everyone.
Yeah, and the bad guy was the dad. The bad guy was the dad who was the prepper.
And in all honesty, if it really had opened the gates in a real situation, they would have all been killed and their stuff stolen. So,
yeah,
I will remind you all on May Day to be a man among men.
You know, as long as we brought this up, let me. If you're looking for something to do, you should go out and hassle and give a hard time to the many right-wing online personalities who have taken very large payouts from Angel Studio in order to assure you that this is certainly not a communist film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I just saw their very first. I guess I didn't even watch the trailer. I just saw that it was posted. So I am just aware of the film. I'm not aware of anything that they said.
And listen, PD, I know you like to shout "dumb Jews," but name a movie studio that's not filled with Jewish money. I mean, it's kind of the thing, and it always has been. It's not new.
Now I'm told that that U.S. soldiers are not supposed to be partisan, but I think I'm going to let this one slide, gents, in the private chat watcher.
Okay. I see. What? I see nothing.
Their vehicle, their it's a Trotus Trump.
That's great.
Trump. So we have gone into Iran. That's going to be the marker on side of all the vehicles. This is just a Trump cutout.
This is probably one of the last trucks in Syria. But yeah, so anyway, all right, moving on. For what's next here? All right, so CENTCOM has stated that they've got some new tricks up their sleeve for if they have to go kinetic again. CENTCOM just briefed Trump on the final blow to Iran: the hypersonic Dark Eagle missiles. Bombers are surging, carriers stacked in the Gulf. They're sitting in a cave. They want a deal badly. 24 hours until the clock expires. This is a Fox News clip
Fox
here.
News alert, it's decision time. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper has just briefed the president in the Situation Room about what could be the final blow.
Evidently, it was a 45-minute brief, so it was not a short little kind of update. This is, I think, probably their kind of last brief before he makes a decision.
Is preparing for a short and powerful wave of strikes. Targets include the enemy's remaining military assets, leadership, and infrastructure.
Iran is proving to be very stubborn. The talks seem like they are stalled. Are you getting antsy to break the ceasefire?
Well, I mean, I don't know what stubborn is because really nobody knows what the talks are except myself and a couple of other people. They want to make a deal badly.
In case the Iranians needed a little nudge, the Pentagon's contemplating bringing a brand new weapon to the battlefield, the mother of all hypersonics, the Dark Eagle. It can hit targets 2,000 miles away. The enemy's last ballistic missile launchers are in the crosshairs. B-1 bombers have been surging into the region, and they can be armed with up to 5,000 pounds of hypersonics. It's a big payload. We're about to hit day 60 of the war. And if we're going by the book, and if you're asking Congress, that means the deadline for Operation Epic Fury expires tomorrow. But Trump could also do what Clinton and Obama did and ignore Congress and keep firing. The Secretary of War says technically we paused the clock 2 weeks ago.
Is the president intending to either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran or send us the legally required certification that he needs an additional 30 days to remove U.S. forces?
We are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire.
I would have said, Mr. Kane, is there some reason why you can't comb your hair?
There's no way that's not intentional. Ugh.
No, he's just a sloppy guy.
So that's 10 minutes more. Do you want to play more of it or?
No. I think we're good there. Let's see. Moving on to the next one. Is this another?
Did we have them swapped? Because this next one was what you just read, and it's only a minute long. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, this is right.
So yeah, this one talks about the hypersonics. But go ahead.
Yeah. So my question on the hypersonics.
Yeah.
Why are we going up the stack on tech? Is this let's just show it works?
So
I think that's part of it. I honestly do think it's a
shock and awe play.
Yeah, it's a look at this, China. Look what we got.
I have a theory. So you know how the Moab can only penetrate 300 feet, and that has to do with the physics of
yeah, it's just right.
Yeah,
terminal velocity and big weight. Yeah.
What if said weight were also rocket assisted?
I mean, no, I got you. I mean, it's kind of like like if you dropped a rod from God on them, it would probably go deeper than something that you dropped from 40,000 feet would go. So,
yeah,
the faster it's going, the more the bang is.
Just a thought. The GBUs that we have are limited by a lot of different things, but there's some physics that prevent it. I'm wondering if one of the ideas for hypersonic that actually makes it useful is, hey, if you're going way, way faster and you continue to push on your way down, does that change the physics equation? And I'm betting it does.
Well,
anyhow,
we may learn.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the argument hypersonics because
the
vast majority of our missiles are hypersonic anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
You want me to play the video?
Yeah.
The Iranians needed a little nudge. The Pentagon's contemplating bringing a brand new weapon to the battlefield, the mother of all hypersonics, the Dark Eagle. It can hit targets 2,000 miles.
God damn it.
That's a little too breathless for me, but I'm sorry. The Dark Eagle. I love the name, though.
I chuckled the first time he did it, right? Like, Jesse Waters is getting paid to try and scare somebody, and it's just not working.
I have to ask, have they decided that, like, when Trump goes back to the WWE, that's his new finishing move?
The Dark Eagle.
away. The enemy's last ballistic missile launchers are in the crosshairs. B-1 bombers have been surging into the region, and they can be armed with up to 5,000 pounds of hypersonics. It's a big payload. We're about to hit day 60 of the war. And if we're going by the book, and if you're asking Congress, that means the deadline for Operation Epic Fury expires tomorrow. But Trump could also do what Clinton and Obama did and ignore Congress and keep firing. The Secretary of War says technically we paused the clock 2 weeks ago.
Is the president intending to either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran or send us the legally required certification that he needs an additional 30 days to remove U.S. forces?
Where we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire.
All right, so here's my kind of steelman argument for why the hypersonics, right, are potentially something different. Now, I'm not an expert
because they're ballistic missiles and they're not normally hypersonic. I understand the reason and the science. I just stop acting like hypersonic is something new. Lots of people have them.
Yeah. So yeah, right. So the key thing here is that ballistic missiles have to follow a ballistic arc, and so it comes from
time for the actually segment. Yes.
I'm never going to give my analysis ever again because I wasn't going to disagree with you, Joe. I was just going to give a different angle. But no, it's cool. If my analysis isn't interesting to you,
it is.
Then I won't bother anybody else with it.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay because if clearly it bothered you enough to where you had to tell me to shut the fuck up. All right, moving on. Holy smokes, Pete Hegseth goes berserk. Now, this is something I think we can all agree on, is the fact that Pete Hegseth is fucking doing the Lord's work on Capitol Hill. All right, let's play the tape here, Watcher.
Oh, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong tab. I had it going and I had it queued perfectly, and then I was on the wrong tab. Damn it!
But if I may, sure. Yeah. I didn't get a chance. I didn't see a question in the statement from the congressman. I hope you appreciate how reckless it is. When I said reckless, feckless, and defeatist of congressional Democrats at the beginning, that came after watching you say the same thing on CNN this morning, a quagmire. My generation served in a quagmire in Iraq and Afghanistan, years and years of nebulous missions and utopian nation building that led us to nothing. What we have right now, the way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that creates strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation. Who are you cheering for here? Who are you pulling for? Our troops are doing incredible work. They've done incredible things for the entirety of this mission and achieved incredible battlefield successes. And you sit there and go on TV for your clickbait about quagmires. It undermines the mission. Your hatred for President Trump blinds you to the truth of the success of this mission and the historic stakes that the president is addressing, which the American people support. Iran's been at war with us for 47 years. You want to talk about a forever war? For 2 months, this president has stared them down. He's going to get a better deal than anyone ever has and ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. I know the American people support that mission, despite your loose talk and words like quagmire.
So I want to, Jim, this kind of resonated really strongly with me. I want to get your take as somebody that doesn't have like our military background. How does this resonate for you as a civilian?
I think he's spot on. That's exactly how I feel when I hear these morons. I mean, I've still got the stain of Jane Fonda just seared into my head. And so, what the alternative? So the alternative on the Democrat side is Moulton from Massachusetts, right? He's trying to come up and speak to this as a vet. He sounds just like John Kerry. We don't want to go through that again. I think there's a plan. I think they're executing the plan. I mean, Joe and I talked about this around the dead fire ring. This is what we're up against, and pulling out early from this engagement would be a really stupid idea, except maybe short-term politically, right? And I just think they're in for the long game on this one, Scott. I think they're going to stay with it.
Yeah, I think, and here's the thing, like he's one of the most articulate people when it comes to making an argument that is, it straddles the line between the emotional and but the practical. You know what I mean? Like the kind of like the so what, right? To regular Americans, and I think that's what. I mean, that's what does it for me. I mean, you know, he hits the things that I want to hear as a military guy as to why we should be doing what we're doing. I just want to make sure that kind of resonates. I think it does, but you know, I just want to.
Well,
guys, what do you say?
It makes strategic sense, right? I mean, we've been at it for 47 years. That's the quote. What the hell has that done for us? And for 20 some of those 47, we've been deploying the young guys like you and Watcher. And I think that's bad policy, right? And that's what he's saying is that policy didn't work. Yeah. We're not going back to it. I won't let it happen. So that's the Secretary of War. Good. He's steadfast. He has a strategy. The president, same strategy. And that's what the difference is here is the president is on board with the strategy of his Department of War. And the Department of War is on board with the strategy of the president. That hasn't happened in a while. Right?
Wow, you mean the National Command Authority and the military being on the same page? That's
I think they're emotionally on the same page, which is the rarity, right?
Yeah.
There's more belief in this than there was in the past. I think in the past it was seen as some transitory thing. I think they understand they're in for the duration. The duration is through November, right?
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about this is we're not going to let the domestic political cycle impact the long-term strategic position the president's taken. He doesn't have to seek re-election. His party hasn't supported him. So he's going to stay with it. There's no benefit other than maybe he decides it's different, but I think he's going to stay with it. It's going to get hard at times, but he's going to stay in this through the summer.
I know what Watcher thinks of this because I know he said he wants to inject this directly into his veins. Joe, I mean, this has got to you're probably like me. This hits the right notes tonally, right, for you, I would guess.
100%. And I think that there is a lot of public support for continuing what we're doing because let's be honest, if Iran ever obtains a nuclear device, they will use it. And they will use it either on the United States or Israel. And we must not allow that to happen.
One of the things that I want to call out from here, which I think we have the clip from the CNN clip here in a second that talks about this, calling this a quagmire in 2 months, the effort that we've been undertaken, what we've succeeded, the successes in the battlefield that could create strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing a propaganda enemy to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. That's the kind of thing right there that really kind of like.
This enemy has been killing American soldiers and maiming them for free for over 20 years. Yeah. And so it's time for us to get a little bit of payback.
Facts.
Here's another clip of Hegseth today.
I haven't talked about it as much in these hearings because this is a budget hearing about $1.5 trillion that's historic and significant. But underwriting the change that we've seen at our department was a laser focus on getting back to basics. And the key word to that is merit. We had a department that was obsessed with gender, ideology, and race, diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, the mantra you would hear dripping from the lips of generals and with a serious look on their face was, "Our diversity is our strength," which is the single dumbest phrase in military history. Of course, our diversity is not our strength. Our unity is our strength, our shared purpose, the flag we wear and and the Constitution we serve to defend. And when you clear that debris away, whether it's Marxist ideologies or social engineering or political correctness or quotas based on gender and diversity, you get the best of the best rising up, regardless of gender, regardless of race, motivated by that environment where merit reigns. It's accountability, standards, lethality, readiness, training, all the debris wiped away. That is the secret sauce of the revival of the War Department and why Americans are attracted to serving in it and why those inside it, why morale is sky high. And any insinuation that it is not are coming from folks who haven't been in our units recently. Go visit the troops at every level, and their morale is at record level.
And I want to talk.
Yeah, I can testify to that.
Well, also, if I'm not mistaken, recruitment is at literal historic record levels. Like never, except for I believe right after
They can be
Pearl
picky
Harbor.
now. They can be picky right now.
They are specifically having to say, "Hey, you're a great candidate. We would any other time we'd be thrilled to take you, but we can't keep you right now. We're going to have to put you off till the next fiscal year."
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, I know a lot of generals kind of poo-pooed some of his kind of takes, but if you're a general and you don't agree with this,
literally got us into the same
you shouldn't
problem.
be a general. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
Correct. Here's another thing that I've heard. As long as we're on Hegseth, is that the left is screaming about how he's purged the officer corps, and they're pointing at other leaders in the past as examples of great neutral leaders who really just were. The neutral leaders are pointing at had purged up to 45% of their officer corps. From what I'm seeing, Hegseth's got rid of 8%.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yes, the Obama era, there was a huge purge of essentially Iraq War era people that he. So I mean, anyway. Let's move on to the next one here. This is another clip from Fox News. Let's listen.
Destiny, foreigners who come from thousands of kilometers away to act with greed and malice there have no place in it except at the bottom of its waters. Today, President Trump will be briefed on possible military plans by CENTCOM commander. According to reports, though, he has already expressed a preference for an extended naval blockade, saying it is more effective at degrading what's left of the Iranian regime and also reducing its revenue generators like its oil.
Yeah, I'm going to make a prediction here, which is I think the strategy right now is unless you make us move, we're just going to strangle you until you either give up or die.
Yeah, that's fair.
The default position is to try to get the domestic population to stand up. And the difficulty is the Persians don't appear to be willing to do so. It's clear the Kurds and the Azeris and the Baluchis would be glad to segment up and parcel out Iran, but that doesn't suit them. So there's a fine line to be walked there, I think.
I want to drop this one in here at this point because we just kind of came out of the Hegseth stuff. Look at the private chat there, Watcher.
Ew, Gunther Eagleman. Ew.
I just care about the clip.
International law. Who's enforcing international law?
Sorry.
Who's the aggressor here?
Us. We are the aggressor.
Against
we
Iran?
launched this war. Yes.
Okay.
Just because Iran exists.
Did all of U.S. history exist before the last 8 weeks to you, or just 8 weeks?
It started on February 28th.
Listen, we all know.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47
We
years.
all know that Scott. International law. Who's in?
I mean, he just casually reminds them that everything happened since 1979. I mean,
Still exists. Yeah.
Who was that moon-faced? Not a friendly act.
Who was the little moon-faced child?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's another clip of him getting fucking roasted by Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings has been doing the Lord's work as well here lately. I'm not a fan of CNN, but I sure like his clips on there. And CNN has got to be getting huge ratings from him because he basically because they put him on all the time.
I mean, he's probably literally the only Republican voice most Democrats hear. And I'm not even
okay.
exaggerating.
Yeah, here let me I think this is the clip where he kind of goes ham on this kid.
Okay.
All right. There we go. It's in the private chat.
Okay.
Oh, Gunther Eagleman again. Sorry.
Of course. All right.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47
We all
years.
know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat? Is that
Homie,
what you
I
have?
debated you on TV for
He's a Gen Z.
and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going.
I'm sorry. Who is this fetus?
His name is Adam McCullough. I have no idea. He's a leftist.
Yeah, he's a new glib leftist.
Yeah, he's a smug leftist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? A bunch of people use that exact image to mock him over the weekend because this kid is just silly, right? Like he's basically saying you're a boomer when he's like, well, I was 2 years old when you were doing this. I mean, that's not a valid argument. That doesn't change history just because you were younger then.
And in fact, it kind of proves his fucking point. Is that like you literally don't know what happened and you haven't bothered to learn.
This is why Mondami gets support right here. This face.
Would we talk about kids who should have been like punched in the face more in school?
Yes,
this is who we're talking about.
Yes, facts.
Yes.
Name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's hand on my face.
Everybody, hang tight. Okay?
Get your hand out of my fucking face.
We're having a debate.
Yeah.
You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
We had a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if
We're all doing a flashback to 1987.
We have a very simple goal: to keep terrorists and a terrorist regime from having a nuclear weapon that can threaten the United States, our interests in the region, our allies in Europe, anybody else in the world.
You can't answer the question.
That is
I would get mad too.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. Next for us, the president suggests ABC.
That kid needs to be fucking jumped.
Why can't that kid let the other guy finish a sentence? That's the problem.
Well,
and that's a leftist thing, right?
Yeah, that's their only tactic. They can't. They've got no points to actually say something back. They have to interrupt you.
Yeah. Well, there's no understanding in that young guy's brain beyond the question political concession. This is not a discussion of politics. This is military power, and it's military power being applied as part of a large global strategy that isn't tied back to domestic politics. And that's the part everybody's got a gap problem on, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is used to American politics pulling these things apart before they can be finished, right? And so you end up in this ebb and flow of our political cycle. We're in the middle of a political cycle. The president has looked at it and said, I'm not going to be subject to that. He said it directly when the king was here, right? He said, I'm not going to be thinking in these short periods of time. And it's going to hurt the Republicans. But again, the Republicans haven't supported this president. So he looks at it and says, I'm going to do the right thing. That's how I think we got here. And it isn't political. And that's where the young political pundit loses himself. It's got to be political in his world.
The best commentary on that kid, as Jay Bjornson points out, was that NC Scout reposted that exact photo of the kid doing that. And he said, your testosterone test came back negative.
Oh, that's classic.
Hey, you guys want to see a dead body?
All right, let's see. What do we got next here? Let's see. We got that. Is that? I think that's the end of our. Oh yeah, we got the last one here. Supreme Leader calls to essentially clear the waters.
Oh wait, I don't have.
Or did we already do this one?
I think we already did that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So but this is we didn't really talk about it because we went back to talking about the quagmires.
Right.
Joe, as somebody who has experience in maritime warfare in the region, what do you vowing to sink American ships to the bottom of its waters? What's the likelihood that they have any capability or capacity to do such a thing?
Well, it depends on what you classify as an American ship, and it comes down to those definitions, right? A small boat, like they did before when they, in the biggest travesty of military life of the last 3 decades, when they captured 2 ribs, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing. But to actually damage either a large military ship or a large U.S. flag commercial vessel, they have almost zero capability to make that happen right now under the current air superiority scheme that we have. And Tim Kaine can call it a quagmire all he wants, but we don't just have air superiority. We have like air dominance. They're literally not even bringing their planes out. And nothing flies in that region at this point without our consent. We're even shooting down drones. So what is Iran's capability? A mine or some type of subterfuge along the lines of the USS Cole. But we learned that lesson. We don't allow that to happen anymore. And I don't think Iran actually has the ability to do it. Now, do they have the ability to use pirates in skiffs to seize a tanker? Absolutely. And they'll as they have all along, paid their people in Somalia and in Yemen to make that happen for them. But to actually sink something of ours in the Strait of Hormuz, they have no capability whatsoever.
The key thing for me here is that, kind of getting back to things that they can do to kind of crack this nut open. I mean, I am not in favor of using ground forces to go in and basically, open these underground cities up and having to clear them. Talk about a fucking forlorn hope. That being said, I mean, Joe, can you think of anything that they could do that they haven't done already to kind of, I don't know, move the ball down the field on this?
First of all, you get props for the use of forlorn hope. Because for those who don't know, that's a former British military term for the first guys over the wall who were probably going to die. So anyway, you get extra credit for that. I think that the best use right now of the large number of Marines that have gathered in the region is securing shipping. You put a squad on each tanker transiting and allow them to fight off the IRGC Navy. Because nothing the IRGC Navy has a standoff capability. They're all small boats that have to approach their target to within small arms range to use what they have. And there's nothing better to a bunch of 18 to 25-year-old Marines than getting to shoot at small boats on the water. It's like training. They train for this literally on the back of the ship all day long. So it'll be good. I think that's the best use of our ground troops is actually securing shipping.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think going after those small boats that we saw kind of became a problem a couple of weeks ago. And then the only other thing I would say, Joe, when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, are picking out and isolating some of those small islands in the Strait of Hormuz and actually potentially seizing them. Well,
they historically belong to the UAE.
Yeah.
And I think most of the islands, I think, are going back to the UAE.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is perhaps deploying some of the American Marines, and there's actually some French Marines ashore in Oman that could be used to tighten up port security. Because the way Iran could pull that off is using one of their proxy groups to get a bomb inside of a port.
Yeah.
So the one thing that concerns, so I've been looking at the risk issues around this Hormuz thing and looking at the giant insurance bubble that was created by blocking the shipping. The concerns are that they have the ability to launch anti-ship missiles, so C-802 type stuff. And they have the ability to deploy mines that are, quiescent until they're triggered. And they played that card pretty well. I don't think people have mitigated that risk in the mind of the markets, right? But I think tactically, you guys are spot on. I don't think the IRGC can do much at this point. But all it takes is one ship. That's the problem. Is you've got to be perfect on the American side, or you're going to have all the harpies on the hill climbing on the president.
Yeah,
and that's where our system is damaging. They're hoping for that. They would love a giant oil spill, right? They would love a burning ship image. So they've got to be perfect. So I would worry about anti-shipping missiles in revetments somewhere along that piece of coast. And that's a big piece of coast.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about with Iran? Relating. I guess I have a final Middle East point that I want to bring.
Just before that, I have to do a correction to someone in the chat. You are required to say "peace be upon him" after mentioning the late Lieutenant Colonel Richard Sharp.
That's exactly right. It was sad that I was upset that I mentioned Forlorn Hope, but I didn't have my 95th Rifles.
Yeah, I got mine's on the hat over in the corner too. Yeah, too.
Watcher,
I'm troubled by the number of matching hats and patches you and I have. It's a little weird.
I mean, great minds think alike, my friend.
Right.
All right. I got a final Middle East point, and Watcher, if you could pull up the link I just shared in the. Who says you can't use a shopping cart as a weapons platform?
Speaking of cool technicals,
I was going to say this guy takes technical to a whole new level. I'm just saying, It even has a nice carrier for the ammo inside. He's got an ammo bin in there.
That's great. So where is this? Do you know?
I have no idea. I mean,
I'm going to bet this is Mali, just based on the camo pattern and the fact that it's a Dishka. The Dishka shopping cart is just a new level of drip that I can't believe. Yeah, and see, there's the ISIS flag. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is Syria.
It may be Syria. Yeah. So who knows? All right.
They must be getting budget cuts. They're not getting brand new Hiluxes anymore. Huh? We stopped USAID, and all of a sudden they're down to using.
They don't have old U.S. plumber pickup trucks, anymore as technicals. All right. Next segment is the future civil war. So if you ever want to know why the left would want to start a civil war, well, let me articulate a scenario for you. You get the dumbest member of the Supreme Court ever seated just in time for the Republicans to finally get their shit together and get a 6-3 vote that not only gets rid of Roe v. Wade a couple years back, but now it has gotten rid of the Section 2 of the Voters' Rights Act, which basically says that you can't use race as a basis for gerrymandering election areas. And so what this does, but hypothetically, could take away up to 12 seats away from the Democrats in the southern part of the U.S. alone. And it also could potentially challenge every gerrymandered map that shows a preference given to an urban area in order to shift the voting patterns of rural areas, right? Which is where you tend to have the racial divide, right? Urban, rural. So, particularly Louisiana, which is the one that they were talking about in that Supreme Court case, but also they're looking at like Tennessee is going to be redrawing its map. I think Georgia has said that they're going to redraw their map. Florida has already voted on a new map that is a +4 Republican map. And evidently the Justice Department says that they are going to be enforcing this on states now, and taking states to court that have racially gerrymandered maps prior to the midterms. And I'm hearing even Illinois may lose Democratic seats due to gerrymandering.
When you look at some of the districts that are drawn on these maps, they're absolutely ludicrous to get the makeup they want. Like there are parts where parts are like 200 miles away from the rest of the district.
It's like that Virginia map that we showed, where they literally they funnel 5 segments into just a really narrow area because all the population is in that Nova area, right?
Yeah, they've got to include the federal employee, suburban female, and new migrant numbers in Nova, or they lose the state. But the mistake the Democrats have made on this, honestly, guys, is for years they have reveled in the fact that they have used race to create congressional districts, and they have been immune from criticism. The ground has been cut out from under them.
Yeah.
And they're going to go back and say, "Oh, it wasn't about race." It always was, always will be, and they've admitted it for decades. And so that's been proven unconstitutional. Now they're going to go after the court, though. So the court becomes the target.
Let me pause you right there, and let's get the wise and ever so prophetic, I think, in some ways, Hakeem Jeffries on his thoughts on where we're going.
For Obama. Yeah.
There we go.
By this illegitimate Supreme Court.
Illegitimate. So he has basically push pause. He has basically said that they are illegitimate. So nothing they say is because, and I think Raskin said that court has been gerrymandered. Okay, well, I don't know what that means, but continue.
Against the Voting Rights Act, and is designed to undermine the ability of communities of color all across this country to elect their candidate of choice.
Oh, by the way, push pause again. Record number of African American congressional members in the Congress right now at over 50. I think it's 57 members. Almost all of them have been elected by a plurality white districts. So this in an era where white people will send black people to Congress, he thinks there is a need to have some sort of racial profiling.
Elected a black man as president twice. And so here's the thing. He's saying it denies the ability of these people to get who they wanted, but redrawing the map so that you get the number you want is denying people the person they want to vote for.
Right.
They just don't understand that they're actually arguing for the same point we are.
Joe, how many Republican representatives are there from New England?
0.
Right, but yet somehow we make up 40% of the electorate in those states, yet they deserve no representation. I wonder if some of those districts have been drawn.
Districting has something to do with it. Yeah.
In order to keep rural voters from being able to elect somebody that represents them.
By the way, I have to mention something. Derna solved a great mystery of all time in the chat. Sean Bean dies in every single thing he's in, except for the Richard Sharp series. He said that all of Sharp's mortal wounds transferred to other Sean Bean characters. There it is.
I love it. Lance Corporal Veteran for $5 says, when political leaders start questioning and denouncing legitimacy, start counting down to conflict. Yeah, let's go back.
I was going to bring that up when Scott said that calling the Supreme Court illegitimate, and he's called the president illegitimate.
Right.
There's nothing left.
If I may,
let me just say it. Then you could talk, and then we'll go back to the video, because this is exactly why I wanted this Hakeem Jeffries. The Supreme Court is illegitimate. That is what is going to be the match that starts the fuse that goes to the explosion of the Civil War at some point. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Watcher.
If I may, the whole thing is very staged managed. And I believe that this is all downstream of things that other people have not yet put together yet. I think this is going to be acted on with a haste. Look, this codifies the game, right? As soon as you present what the rules are, and it's no longer ambiguous, then you have a playing field. And we have now been presented with the new playing field. And in this new playing field, if you follow it out mathematically, Democrats are fucked. And I don't mean like they will be fucked in a couple generations like people keep talking about. No, like legitimately right now, if Republicans actually push it, Republicans have won the midterms. And not just won the midterms, they might even actually take the Senate and have a lock on all three bodies. Not that that'll matter, again, because remember, this is still the current Republican Party. But
yeah, don't forget that.
If you look forward, though, it really does become a situation where Democrats are not a national party at that point anymore. They aren't. And I'm not the only one who has realized this. Democrats have had the entire time that this case has been coming up through the courts in order to war game that. I think they know exactly what the situation is. I think they know that right now is literally the zenith of their power, and that if their goal is power no matter what, or revolution no matter what, whichever way you want to put this, if that is their goal, then the only logical play left to them right now is to take every bit of power that they have left and try and get into a civil war as fast as possible. It's not a good option. It doesn't have a high likelihood of success, but the other option is literally just becoming a non-entity overnight for the next however many generations.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on with Hakeem's self-indictment here.
They're here to fight back. Yes. Now, when this decision came out earlier today, it's an unacceptable decision, but not an unexpected decision. Because this isn't even really the Roberts court. It's the Trump court.
Yes.
And what we would expect from the Trump court is an effort to continue their scheme to suppress the vote and rig the midterm elections and beyond. Because these...
Boy, did he like take half of the Southern Preacher speaking course, or is he just not able to pull it off? Is that what that is? Because he is trying really hard.
Well, he's a Muslim. He doesn't understand.
Extremists have failed America in every possible way. They failed on the economy. They failed on health care. They're failing as it relates to this reckless and costly war of choice. The extremists have completely and totally failed America. So they've concluded, aided and abetted by the Trump court, that they have to cheat to win.
Yes.
But the reality of our experience, our journey, now more than 400 years, is that we view a setback, and this is one, but we view setbacks as nothing more than a setup for a comeback.
Yeah, so the irony is the first half I understood, the second half didn't even sound like English to me.
Don't call it a comeback.
It was
it sounded like he knows exactly what Watcher was talking about, which is they're screwed.
Yeah.
Squishy Hunter, a distant "that's right" can be heard on the wind.
That's right.
It do be like that.
Yeah, so this scam of race is over for most people, and it's got them very forlorn. They're not happy.
Pinochet, I would warn you to subscribe to this too deeply, right? In a civil war, unarmed, wealthy Democrats in states like Massachusetts will have their property converted. Well, here's the thing. They will convert it into money and pay people with guns to protect them. Now, you get what you pay for when it comes to security like that. But there are always people mercenary enough to take the silver.
Well, I've heard there are some who will take the silver and then perform in a less than stellar fashion on purpose.
On purpose. That will happen too.
You know, Scott, I know what you're saying, but I will point you at the wealth redistribution bills they literally have going on in these blue states right now. And I'm going to say, if you think that's bad now, well, they're protected under, technically protected under the Constitution, they'll just ratchet that up to 1,000. If you're not a party connected rich person, he's right. Like, if you're not connected to the party and you just happen to live in one of those states and have money,
Oh yeah.
God help you.
Yeah. If you are not a true believer, you're fucked. That's no matter how much money you have. That being said, if you're rich and you're in you're probably plugged into the system.
So I want to give Watcher some props because before we could play that video, he had to go in and remove the background audio of a smoke detector chirping every 15 seconds that was in there. So,
all right, Watcher, I added a link. It's in the notes. If you could, while I read this $20 super chat, if you can pull that one up. All right, just me for $19.99. That is not cheap, my brother. Thank you very much. Jeffries and everyone standing there with him were just made illegitimate by the SCOTUS ruling because they are all from racially drawn. Yeah. They are absolutely scared shitless of losing their power, right? While other legitimately meritocracy type blacks that are in Congress have got nothing to worry about because people voted for them not because of the color of their skin or the color of the skin of the voter, but because of the merit. Right now, if you're in a majority white district, even if it's gerrymandered for Democratic strength, you will probably lose that gerrymandering and you will see the map change.
Think about the latent racism in it too, right? They're saying, well, without majority black districts, black people won't be able to vote for only black people. Well, that's racist. They shouldn't only be voting for black people, right? It's just they expose themselves at every turn as being the actual racists because he's implying that black people only want to vote for other black people.
Yeah. All right. So if you weren't sure exactly where Hakeem Jeffries stands on the whole Supreme Court situation, let him continue to explain it in even fewer words.
In the new Congress, we're going to have to do something about this Supreme Court. And let me be very clear. Everything is on the table. Everything to deal with this corrupt MAGA majority that is issuing political opinions that are designed to bolster the prospects of the Republican Party, and we will not allow them to succeed.
Everything is on the table.
You know, it's funny, they keep saying crap like that, then they won't actually point to any part of this law that was misinterpreted or anything like that. They're just angry. They can't keep doing their race grift, and they literally can't even articulate a reason why because it's obvious.
Well, if you really want to understand Hakeem, just pull up video of his uncle.
Yeah.
Let me point out that this is one of the men who lectured us all on toning down the rhetoric the other day.
Yep.
And here he is. Everything's on the table. And why is his head unnaturally sized compared to the rest of his body?
Yeah, I think he was born with the salad forks or whatever, you know.
Procephaly.
All right, let's give this. CNN continues to actually report news versus just the narrative.
I have to say, it's funny. Whenever I see this guy, he's like their designated truth teller. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like
he's like the news version of Scott Jennings. You know, like guys, I gotta.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now in the numbers is President Trump and the Republican Party are chipping away at the long-term advantage that Democrats have had with black voters, with African Americans. You can see it right here. Look, Trump's approval among African Americans at this point in term one, he was at 12%. You know, he's been losing ground with a lot of people. He's gaining ground with African Americans. He's up to 16% at this point. And you say, this isn't that big of a shift. But I will tell you, Republicans absolutely love this shift that's going on because Democrats have had such a long-term advantage. The fact that he's actually gaining ground versus where he was in term number one, this has major implications for elections down the line because Democrats, especially in a lot of these tight races, you talk about places like Georgia, right down in the South, you see this type of movement for Trump actually gaining ground. This could have major ramifications and help put Republicans over the top in a number of southern places, in the midterm elections.
But do you see this as part of a bigger trend?
I see this as absolutely part of a bigger trend. Donald Trump's Republican Party is absolutely gaining ground, not just him gaining in terms of his approval rating, but look at the party ID margin, Kate, because this to me was absolutely stunning. Look at this party ID margin among African Americans. At this point, in Trump term number 1, Democrats had a 63-point advantage. That has absolutely fallen. Look at where it is now. A double-digit shift away. Democrats, of course, still have the advantage, but it's a 12-point shift to the Republican Party. And I look back through Gallup's records. They sent me their records. And this, in fact, lead that Democrats have is actually smaller than any lead from 2006 to 2021. So Democrats are leading. But again, we're talking about chipping away. Republicans are chipping away at this long-term advantage that Democrats have had among African Americans. We see it in terms of Trump's approval rating, and we even see it to a wider degree among the party ID margin, where all of a sudden there are a number of African Americans who are walking away from the Democratic Party and a number of them who are walking into the Republican tent.
That is very interesting, looking at that past Gallup information.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the race for control in Congress?
Okay, so you see this right here. You see this 51-point advantage that Democrats have, significantly less than you see that 63-point advantage. And what we will note was back in 2024, right, Donald Trump put in a historically strong performance among African Americans. Democrats performed the worst in a generation. Have they gained any of that coalition back from where they fell down to in 2024? But take a look here. Okay. Choice for election among African Americans. Kamala Harris was leading amongst that group in the pre-election polling by 63 points. Are Democrats gaining back any of that ground? It's a 62-point advantage now. Republicans are holding on to the gains that they made among African Americans in 2024. Republicans are gaining among African Americans. They are chipping away at that long-term advantage. The Donald Trump-led Republican Party is making gains among African Americans that we simply put have not seen the Republican Party make in a generation.
Fascinating.
Because they're actually doing the things that they promised. I mean, shocking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's move on. We're going to talk a little more about the SCOTUS thing. And so what does this mean for the voting map, right? So this is, I thought this was a pretty good little rundown. Let me read it here to you. Nobody's telling you the real story of the SCOTUS voting rights ruling. Yes, the court ruled 6-3. Yes, race-based districting is now unconstitutional. Yes, Louisiana's map just got thrown out. But here's the part everybody's missing. Democrats don't have a majority in the House without those court-ordered maps. A dozen of their current seats sit in districts that only exist because of the federal courts forced the states to draw them. Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, every one of these has at least one Democratic seat in a court-created black majority district. Their House margin is 4 seats. SCOTUS just made 12 of their 213 seats legally redrawable. Republican-led legislatures don't need new voters. They need a redistricting committee and a Tuesday afternoon. If race-based districts are unconstitutional, then Louisiana redraws. If Louisiana redraws, then Alabama redraws. If Alabama redraws, then every southern state redraws. If every southern state redraws, then Democratic House majority was a 60-year courtroom artifact, not an elected election result. That's what nobody is saying out loud. The 2026 midterms were just decided 6-3, 6 months before the election. If you're not following, so I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I think this is spot on. I think this has a chance to basically eliminate their ability to control Congress for the next 10 years.
I think that's true too. And their other option of changing the makeup of a district, of bringing in immigrants, also backfires on them. Because do you know who hates immigrants more than conservative white people?
Black people.
Black people. They cannot stand them. Africans 100%. and African Americans do not mix well. And Arabs and African Americans do not mix at all. So it's interesting.
Here is, from what I understand, the best figure on what this map's going to look like.
I think that's the old map.
You're right.
I think that gives too much credit to Northern California.
I grabbed the wrong one. Let me find.
Yeah, there's another one. I've seen it like it's side by side, but yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go down in the comments of this, you've got the Louisiana Jerry right there. I mean, this just goes to show you how fucking stupid. They basically had to gerrymander Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans all into one district or into two districts in order to get.
Yeah, look at that District 6. That District 6, that's probably a good 800 miles from tip to tip, right? Those people share nothing in common. That's not the way representative districts are supposed to work.
Yep. Yeah, and then of course you're reminded Massachusetts 36% Republican, 0 seats. Connecticut 43% Republican, 0 seats. New Mexico 46% Republican seats. New Hampshire 48% Republican. Rhode Island 42% Republican, 0 seats. Vermont 32% Republican, 0 seats. Hawaii 38% Republican, 0 seats. Delaware 42% Republican, 0 seats. So shocking. It's only bad when Republicans do it.
Well, and remember, it has literally been that way as long as I've been politically conscious. There wasn't some big wave where they did that. It has been that way. That's always been the politics in leftist states.
I pointed this out in my tweets about this, is that what you claim is creating fairness is actually giving outsized voting power to admitted minorities. Please define for me the word minority. What does minority mean? It means not the majority. So you shouldn't have outsized voting power. You should have the same voting power.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, let me move on. I think we got one more thing here.
Oh. Yeah, long post. I thought there was going to be a video at the bottom.
Yeah, so I like this because this is the practical kind of conversations that you have with these people, and they just are they're just without response because they don't understand like how actual logic works. All right, so this guy says, I had a real conversation today. A man told me black people just lost their ability to vote. I asked him one question: why only black people? Why not Asians, Indians, Germans, and Italians? He pivoted. He said the Supreme Court won't give black people special circumstances anymore. So I asked him plainly, you're saying black people need permanent federal oversight to vote indefinitely? Because without it, what, they can't participate? He had no answer. Let's deal with facts. The 15th Amendment already guarantees the right to vote regardless of race. Protection never went away. What changed is this. The court questioned whether decades-old emergency provisions could continue without current measurable evidence. That's a constitutional question, not racial suppression. If your argument is that one group needs a permanent exception to the standard applied to every other American, then you better explain why. Because if you can't, you're not defending rights, you're defending dependency.
So they're sitting here arguing that we've destroyed democracy with this. No, we actually restored democracy.
Restored, exactly right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so and Thomas Sowell says in response to these types of situations, when people get used to preferential treatment, equal treatment feels like discrimination. Here's the other thing, too, that a lot of these Democrats won't tell you. The reason why they think black people need help in these types of situations and in many other situations is because they're not smart enough to do it for themselves. This is the reason why they talk about voter suppression with voter ID, but ultimately they're claiming that black people aren't smart enough to get their IDs.
Facts.
Yeah. Let me just tell you that the day Thomas Sowell dies, I'm going to need like a week off.
I know, right? I'll check. Carolyn Levitt had her baby.
Oh, congrats.
A couple of good points in the chat. Derna said, not democracy, Joe, their democracy. That's important. They always say our democracy. It's not a real democracy. And Diatica says they're not being denied to vote. They're being denied guaranteed wins.
They're going to have to actually play real Little League now. You don't get to have the T-ball while everybody else has to actually hit pitches.
Wait, you're saying I can no longer rely on the color of my skin to win an election? I actually have to deliver on the promises I make? Oh, no.
Speaking of stuff, just breaking announcement. Spirit Airlines is now preparing to shut down.
Oh. Where are we going to get our World Star videos from?
I know.
I thought they were going to move Spirit headquartered at Andrews and turn it into a alternative carrier.
Actually, I know that they just tried to get federal bailout money, but look, it's still not working. Spirit's just not working.
You know what? I think he's right here. I think government has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever.
I would just buy them out and use them for deportation flights, and it would just
that's where it was. I think that's where it was going.
So, listen to this. This is the federal. This is the federal action that I guess is going to go into play now. So DOJ says it will enforce SCOTUS ruling in every state with racially gerrymandered districts. Soon, every such congressional district in the nation will face decertification, and their states will be forced to do some sort of emergency redistricting. I don't know what this means. So this guy says, I don't know if this means Congress reps and illegal districts will be rapidly removed. No, they won't be removed from office, but they will literally say, listen, if you don't redraw this, your elections can't be certified, and we won't seat members of Congress who are brought from, and they could do that. That's something they could actually do.
Gee, it's almost like Trump brought a team that came to play.
Oh, again, back to that. There is a strategy discussion.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't seen too many Republicans as vocal as we have been on the failures of the Trump administration on deliverables, right? It's like we like the things that they say, but they're just not delivering on some of the things. But slowly and surely, we're starting to see some of these deliverables come to light. Now, in this case, this is the SCOTUS kind of giving the administration, ammunition to do things, but ultimately, DOJ has, once given the tools, has to act. So we'll see. The ball's in their court. We'll see where they do now. All right, guys, let's go around the horn and see what we think's going on in the near future. Joe?
Sorry, I was thrown down a rabbit hole.
That'll do it to you.
I think it's May Day, so I would look for shenanigans to ensue all over the country today. Nothing real big, but the usual people saying the usual dumb things, right? The May Day crowd. And then something is going to have to happen with Iran, whether it's by us or by the Iranians. So I'd watch for some kinetic action over the weekend. Stay strapped or get clapped. Carry first aid kit everywhere you go. Yada, yada,
yada. Jim?
I think it's just going to be more of the same. I think you're going to see things moving that nobody had thought about. I think people are watching the wrong things. Iran's the big thing. I think China and Russia are under an immense amount of pressure.
Yes.
I think what you're seeing in North Africa represents that. You got the Algerians down messing around. You've got Al Qaeda. You've got all the usual suspects running around. People will take advantage of this, and it is May Day. And I'm going to guess that the urban Marxists are being rallied by Temu Obama right now, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, Joe, real quick, in Central Africa, in the Sahel area, which of those countries are more kind of aligned towards China? And I'm curious how China is dealing with some of the instability problems that Russia started to deal with.
Well, yes and no. It has backfired for China. They've brought in their own management companies and their own security, and that has angered a lot of the locals because they're used to getting the grift from the French and the Europeans, and they're not getting their grift anymore because when China comes in to run a plant, they don't keep the local workers. They bring in Chinese workers, Chinese security, Chinese management staff, and that's where some of the conflict is happening. In fact, I believe it was in Mali, where we had the plant was attacked by the local insurgent group, and the plant manager was taken hostage, and the security company had to fight them off, and all of that. So, yeah, they like the Chinese investment and the money, but then China comes in and literally colonizes you, and they don't like that.
Yeah. Watcher, what's your kind of take on the next, the weekend?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some strikes from what I'm hearing. I think we're mostly just going to keep up the blockade, but I think we're going to start bombing some leaders again. I think, I guess the way you could put this is, I think we're going to start shaping the diplomatic field. If you catch me. I think the IRGC's already limited leadership roles are going to be significantly further limited within the next few days. I think that'll probably happen over the weekend. What else? I would keep an eye on Taiwan. It didn't make it into the show notes because there was so much else going on. But 6 undersea cables that run directly from the mainland to Taiwan that carry internet were cut. Looks like 13. Well, this morning it was 13 hours ago, which has significantly slowed internet on portions of the island. There are a lot of other undersea cables. It's not like the island's cut off or anything. It's only affecting certain portions of the island. But it's still a significant step up from what they've been doing, which makes one question what the plan is.
Yeah. I think I'm with you guys. I think we're going to see strikes over the weekend. I think it will be limited. I don't think they'll be it won't be shock and awe again.
It's not going to be the Black Eagle or whatever it is.
Well, it very well may be
Dark Eagle. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. The thing that I was going to say that about the hypersonics earlier, about that the ballistic missiles don't provide, is because ballistics come in unguided. The hypersonics can kind of come from any direction, right? And so they just won't know where the threat's coming from. Unlike some of the the Tomahawks came from very specific platforms generally, and they were able to track those in, and they're slow, right? But they had options because they're guided, right? And ballistic missiles are, so believe it or not, you can use SM-3 missiles in a ground-to-ground attack if you didn't know that. But they just are like regular ballistic missiles. But so it would be interesting to see if they actually use the hypersonics. Because I think they want to show off what we can do, not for Iran but for China. Are we gonna see an AI WrestleMania with Trump taking the role of Hulk Hogan and being the people's fighting the Ayatollah? That would be awesome. Radcon Hazard, member for 3 months. Hope you all have a good weekend. Going to be laying flat after showing the young pups how to properly scrub the bilges for field day.
See, that's one of the things about getting older. We can do something, but then we have to take 3 days to recover.
That's so true.
The sad thing is one of the most painful chores I have to do all year is kneel down and sit on the floor to wrap presents at Christmas, because I feel like that's the oldest I feel all year long is my knees, the pressure on my knees from being on the floor. All right. Guys, that's all I've got. Thank you. Unless there's something, did we miss anything, guys? We need to talk about anything else? No. All right. Nothing heard. All right. Thank you, chat. You guys were very generous today. Appreciate you. We will be back on Monday, probably talking about Iran and what happened over the weekend or what didn't happen over the weekend. We will be back same time, same channel. If you haven't done already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified when we go live. And if you haven't done it, let your friends know you're getting some good stuff over here on the Council for Future Conflict. Until we're back, y'all stay safe.